There's always going to be a risk of something not selling well, but you just learn from it and try not to make the same mistake.
We want to know how you're going to spend it and how quickly you can spend it.
Now I feel like we have a very detailed idea on how we're spending every dollar.
You're listening to eCommerce Uncensored with Kevin Manel and Jason Caruso.
Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us on another episode of eCommerce Uncensored. This is episode number 210. My name is Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso.
Today we are joined with Gina Davis from Dogthreads, who created with her husband a dog apparel company, which is really interesting. That and apparel or clothes that you can buy for yourself and your dog, so you can have a matching family.
Matching.
Yeah. It's a really cool story. She, had a background in clothing and things. So she took that and turned it into this really cool business.
I think it was the background in fashion, but
What did I say?
clothing.
Fashion, clothing. Yeah, I guess.
A little
Fashion.
Clothing.
Sorry, Gina. Fashion.
Right.
Yeah. So they have a really good story. They were on Shark Tank. So, and again, a really interesting story about Shark Tank too, that it doesn't seem like the case when you watch it from the outside, and it's really getting more and more apparent that these Shark Tank dream deals aren't really what they're cracked up to be
No.
at all.
No.
So very
Not at
interesting.
all.
So here's our interview with Gina Davis. Enjoy. Hey Gina, thank you so much for joining us today. How you doing?
Good. Thanks so much for having me, you guys.
So you have a really interesting, cool product that I've seen dog clothing before, but nothing quite like yours. So why don't you just kind of start off by telling us a little bit of the backstory and how this idea came to be and how you first started?
Yeah, of course. So I went to school for fashion design. So I have a background in that. I've always been super interested and passionate in that. After college, I started my own women's clothing line. And so I was running that at the time. But during college, I got my first dog, Thomas. He was a Pomeranian poodle, and he loved getting dressed up. I got a few shirts for him. This place called Santee Alley in Los Angeles when I lived there. Let's just say quality is not to the nines. So I had this blue Hawaiian print shirt from there, and he would lay down on his back and let me button it up for him. He'd practically do somersaults when I'd get it out. So he loved it, and soon it fell apart. So when we got back to Minnesota, I got back to Minnesota with Thomas. I met my now husband, Scott, and I was trying to find more clothing for Thomas that matched his human-like personality. And every time I went to, the big box stores, and really there wasn't online pet apparel at the time, all I would find is bedazzled crosses and skulls or, ruffles and sequins. And that just wasn't his jam. I wanted him to dress like Scott, like a gentleman. So it was Scott's idea that we just make his own clothing. And so I drafted my first pattern for him and made a couple flannels, plaids, Hawaiian print shirts, button downs. And every time he wore them, people would stop us and ask where we got them, and where they could get them for their dog. At the same time, we met our first retailer, who was the owners of Dogs of Instagram with a couple million followers. And so it was right along the time when Instagram was getting popular, and it just kind of snowballed from there. We launched with our first retailer. They kind of produced or promoted us on Dogs of Instagram, and we just started gaining new customers and followers every day, and it just kind of went from there.
So you started just making these by hand right out of your house?
Yeah, so I made the first prototype, the first few, and then I had a few contract sewers locally that was producing my women's clothing line at the time. And so I passed along the production to them, but it was very small numbers, small quantities being made locally in Minneapolis.
And I guess you kind of had experience with manufacturing clothes because you had your own clothing line. Is that still a thing? Do you still do that as well?
Oh, I wish. I don't have the time right now, but I hope to again one day, but I still do all of the design for Dogthreads. Yeah.
What school did you go to? Did you go to FIT?
FITM in Los Angeles. So FITM's like the West Coast one, and FIT
Okay.
East Coast.
All right, because whenever I hear fashion, a lot of my I live just outside of New York City, so a lot of my friends that are in fashion went to FIT. So I was just
Yep, that's school to go to in New York for sure.
and they all seem like people that graduate from there all seem like they have their shit together and somehow make something from it, which is interesting. Obviously, they must do a pretty good job at what they're teaching over there. But little side note. So you obviously were on Shark Tank, correct?
Correct.
We've had like the last 5 episodes, I believe, of people at Shark Tank, and every single one of them has the same exact experience. It's hectic. You're going, you're not going. They were just kidding. You are going back, and then no, you're not going. Get on a plane tomorrow. No, get on it yesterday. No, actually, next week.
She seems like she's agreeing with you.
Yeah. Like that's like a story we've heard over and over. And I like say like that is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. It would drive me crazy, and I would just like get too frustrated and not do anything. But it seems like the people that we've had on who've actually were on an episode, it actually really has catapulted them, and it's really helped get the name out. Now, Mark Cuban says it all the time. Like, those spikes they don't really stay forever. So you can't really live on those things. But if you can somehow capture that momentum and use it, it seems like a lot of people have done that. Is that your guys' experience as well with Shark Tank? Like, I know you guys did a deal, right? Which is we're allowed to say that. I think I've even saw it on your website. Right?
Yep, we made a deal, an on-air deal, I should say, with Cuban. So
One of those.
yeah, for us, it's to be honest, probably the best case scenario. We got pretty lucky. Having Cuban agree to a deal on air for us was huge, just because he has been recorded saying that his least favorite thing for Shark Tank episodes are episodes about dogs or children, I believe. So
I know he doesn't like golf, so I think he hates golf as well. And I'm a big time golfer. Yeah, so screw him.
Yeah. Didn't talk to him about golf then. But yeah, so it was really cool to have just his respect, and his interest. But it did fall apart after we aired. And again, I applied on a whim, and the producer called us. It was about a 6-month ordeal going back and forth with them. They constantly remind you that all this work could be for nothing, most likely for nothing. None of this means that you're going to be on the show, but also, could you spend 3 more hours tomorrow doing this for me? And I'll let you know how we, feel about it. So we went on and on with that. And there was a lot of weeks where we were like, should we even be doing this? This is not like, we're most likely not getting on the show. So why would we be wasting our time on it? But at the end of the day, it was really good practice for us to get that kind of information together for our business and start thinking about, raising capital and what really would we do with it. And so when we found out in June that we were going on air, it was, consistently them telling us this means nothing, you might not be on the show. And then they called us and said, oh, so by the way, you're flying out next Wednesday. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, we're going to be on the show? She's like, oh, I thought you knew that. I'm like, you only ever told me consistently that we're most likely not going to be on the show. And of course it was, we were going to pitch on our son's first birthday, our first son. So that was crazy. I told Scott when he got home from work, and wild ride. But the deal with Cuban not really panning out was in the end okay, because we truly didn't know exactly how we were going to use the funds at the time. And it's, of course, an expensive deal when you make one with a shark. So we spent the year really riding that wave and trying to capture the momentum, like you said, and do as much as we could with it and plan for the future and plan how are we going to scale and when. And so that's what we spent last year doing. We just opened up our first round of raising outside capital. And we have a very strategic plan in place, and I feel much more confident about our scale now.
So it's interesting because before when I used to love watching Shark Tank, and then like it just got repetitive for me and I just got tired of watching it. But you think you're making a deal, like they make a deal, they shake your hand, like yeah, like everybody thinks that you made that deal. But Kevin and I right now with one of our clients, we're going through the process of getting like securing funds. And it's funny that you said we didn't know what to do with the money, because that's like the number one thing that they want to know is like they want a plan, right? They give you like all this money and they're like, no, you don't understand. Like we're giving it to you to spend it, not to like put it in the bank and like try to use it to survive. They don't want that. Like we're going through one right now where we're like looking to get $6 million. And they're like, we want to know how you're going to spend it and how quickly you can spend it. And it's funny because it seems like you guys were taken by surprise by that, because you wouldn't be the first if you say you were, that Kevin and I have heard. But they want a plan, and I think that throws a lot of people off because they think that like they're just going to get this money, they can do whatever they want with it, and it's really not like that.
Yeah, and I should say it's not that we didn't have a plan. Like that's part of the process. They want to make sure you have a detailed plan. It was to spend on marketing and digital advertising, et cetera, to capture new customers and scale our e-commerce business. But to the detail of, we hadn't really done much digital advertising yet. So we didn't know what our return on investment truly would be and how much we should spend to get to what revenue dollar, and all of that goes into it. And so after we tested the market and really understood how large our market potential is, now I feel like we have a very detailed idea on how we're spending every dollar. And before, it just wasn't quite that case.
Yeah, we had to like literally lay out an Excel document with dollar amounts on everything, and like the end had to be zero. And then we had to show the investors like how this was going to be spent over the next couple of years. We're like, it's just not in our personality. I don't know if you're a big planner or you're organized or not, but we're like, yeah, we're just going to do whatever it takes to make this successful and make money back. And that's not really what the investors want to hear, of course.
No, I'm definitely more on that page. Numbers aren't my thing. Or I should say weren't. Scott is definitely more that side of the business, but he has a full-time job elsewhere that is very consuming. I'm the creative, designing. And so when we decided to raise outside capital, I'm like, well, shit, I guess that means I have to actually take this on and understand how we're going to do it. And so, it's changed a little bit, but I'm more fly by the seat of your pants, like you mentioned. We'll just make it happen,
Exactly.
Yeah, we it's interesting because we haven't had a lot of success with funding, Kevin and I. And we have an agency. What we didn't tell you is that we I say it every episode, and I feel like I'm like a broken record, but it's like good for you to have some context. Like we have a digital marketing agency. We also took our own product from $0 to $2 million in 1 year.
Oh, what was that?
It's a wildlife photography magazine. It's a digital magazine.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any of that stuff behind you, so it's a little bit easier for us.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier. It's like it's all digital. But like when we got into this whole world of like physical products, which I've been in for a really long time, but not from the standpoint of like all this like nitty gritty. I was just like the marketing person in a physical product company. Like I've always just was under the impression is like, I got to figure out how to bootstrap this. Like I'm not going to go out and get money. Like I got to figure out my acquisition costs. I got to figure out my average order values. I got to figure out how much ROAS I need on my Facebook ads to make this work. And it's just interesting to me how you need to know those numbers, but like when you're getting funding, you're kind of like skipping all that and just going to like, I'm going to just try to spend this money any way that I can, so to speak. It's just like weird to me, like in this world, because I just always felt like we just got to make it work, but it's really not the way it is. And it's interesting because I feel like your product, right? I feel like if Kevin and I got a hold of your product and ran Facebook ads for you, like I feel like you'd make money. I'm like, why do they need funding? Like, why don't they just get like a good marketer? But I guess there's a lot more that goes into it than just that, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of different types of companies out there. Every product is different. Everything needs a different plan. And there's a lot of different ways to raise capital. To your point, we were just in an accelerator program to basically teach us how scale, connect us with mentors and resources to try and figure all of that out and position us correctly before we do so. And what I learned from that was I was trying to figure out, are we going to raise outside capital and how fast do we want to scale and what's best for our business? Because, you can take on a ton of outside capital and just spend it like crazy, take everyone's advice, and just try and grow quickly. But I want to stay super true and authentic to our brand. And I don't believe in trying to grow something, like 20x in 1 year. I want to stay close to our brand and grow it, authentically and realistically. And so to that point, you have to really think about who you're partnering with. You could raise VC money that's gonna, want you to go absolutely crazy with the money really fast. And that's not our plan. So we're focused on angels and friends and family that, want a different return and they don't need it to be as fast. And I think, so there's just lots of different ways to do it. And I think knowing your numbers before you raise money, I think is a better idea than just going and raising outside capital without a really strong plan. It just seems like you're going to have a better outcome. So we definitely did something more in the middle of what you just mentioned.
Yeah, because I feel like sorry, go ahead, Gav.
No, I said it's also got to be super difficult with all the overhead for the fashion industry, and not just overhead, but also like the subjective nature of like the designs and the sizes. Is like, how do you handle like inventorying the right products, not knowing really if it's going to sell? Do you try to sell like a pattern or a design first before you go out and you buy a bunch of inventory? How does that usually work?
Yeah, no, we can't really do that because we create all of our own designs from scratch and all of our own fabrics. So they're not reused, prints. And I think it is a little bit scary. There's always going to be a design that flops, but we've grown so slowly over time. So we've learned what colors our customers want, what types of prints and what styles. And so we didn't, go out and create 10,000 of one shirt. We've slowly scaled those numbers. But I do think that's kind of our secret weapon is the design element, because there's other pet apparel companies out there. But I think being able to foresee fashion trends and understanding what consumers really want, we really go after the human fashion trends, not just, dog type trends. And so I think creating those unique designs every season is what sets us apart. And yeah, there's always going to be a risk of something not selling well, but you just learn from it and try not to make the same mistake.
Yeah, I used to work for like a baby, like a high-end baby company, and they actually became Kevin and I's client.
Oh yeah.
For afterwards. But yeah, I when I was working for this guy, it's like you're creating these fab, or they call them prints. I don't know if that's what you guys call them. Like they call them prints. Like months before before they're going to be released. So like they're trying to stay on trends before they even, or trying to like figure out trends before they even happen. And there are some that worked really well. And then there are some that they thought were going to work really well and they didn't. So I think you're probably right, because you're selling spring clothes in the middle of winter, right? Like, or those have like, that's kind of
Or
how
is it seasonal? Do you have
Seasonal,
different
right.
seasonal stuff too? Right.
Yeah. I mean, we have flannels, we have holiday sweaters, jammies, and Hawaiian print shirts. It started with the Hawaiian print shirt and then we grew from there. So now we have something for every season. But yeah, I mean, I was just working on our fall winter holiday collection for this year. So we're finalizing all of our designs and prints right now, and we're running late. So yeah, you have to foresee the trends. And I think that is, one of our, I guess, our strengths as a brand is, I feel like that's something I went to design school for. And
I was about to say, you're just trying to be nice and humble, but you're basically saying this is what you were trained to do. This is what you're good at. And this is how you make it work, is your background.
Yeah,
basically.
I feel like I have a good sense.
So you're really, really good at it.
Right, just say it. I mean, we're not shy. We tell people we suck at some things, very
Jason's
little
really
things.
not. Yeah, Jason's not that great at most things. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel free to
I
tell me.
mean, yeah, that's my passion. That's what I focus on, and I guess that's what I'm good at.
Now, are you an animal person or a dog person? I know you said you had one. I'm a dog person. I've had several dogs. Although the one I have right now is a big pain in my ass. But are you like a dog person? Is that kind of,
For sure. I mean, I've always been a dog person. And when I left for school, college, we had a family dog, and not living with an animal was awful for me. I just love them. I'd stop every dog on the street, and now I still do, even though I have my own. But so I got a puppy in college, which is not the ideal thing to do. But I don't regret it. And yeah, I will always have a dog for sure.
Yeah, and you took your passion, right, which is fashion, or two of your passions, right? Fashion, dogs, and you kind of, and it probably, now I want to talk a little bit because we've really kind of just been talking about like background and that sort of thing, but talk to us about your marketing. What exactly do you do? Do you do Facebook ads? Do you do email? Do you do Instagram, Pinterest? What exactly does your strategy look like? Because you said you've grown, you've scaled slowly, which is fine. I mean, we've actually, believe it or not, we've had another Chimera, Kev, what is it? Chimera?
Chimera, yeah.
Chimera. He said, like, I'm deliberately growing as quickly as I want to grow. He said exactly what you were saying.
When did this all start anyway, to put a date on it? How long have you been at this?
So we started the business in 2014, but I mean, we were doing it as a side hustle, passion project, up until 2017 is when I took it on full time. So that's when things got more serious. And yeah, we've bootstrapped it thus far. We have a line of credit for inventory because that's necessary. But other than that, we haven't done a lot of paid digital ads up until last holiday season. And yeah, I think I guess our plan right now is, now that we are raising outside capital and pretty close to closing the round, the plan for it is to spend it on digital advertising and inventory to supply that demand, like I mentioned. And most of that is social media ads.
So is that where your sales are coming from right now? Is social media?
Yeah, I mean, e-commerce is definitely the channel we're focused on because wholesale kind of comes naturally, follows, as our e-commerce sales grow. And it comes from SEO, like direct to our website, along with social media. But our product is such a visual product that I think that's why we've been able to grow on social media pretty well. Not everyone wants to take a picture of themselves in their favorite shirt and tell their friends, but almost everyone wants to take a picture of their dog in a cute shirt and tell their friends. So it's a great avenue for us to find our customers, connect with our customers, and just kind of, grow our channel that way.
So it's been pretty much word of mouth and SEO really up until you get like recently.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you first started, we could just go back real quick to when, like, you first launched the website and you launched the brand. I know you said that you would go out with your dog and everybody would say how awesome it was, and they want to buy it and all those all those nice words that they tell you. And then when you actually go to sell it, really no one really wants it. And when you start asking for money, yeah. How did you begin to get it out when you first started, other than the people who would see you walk down the street? What was your first steps when you launched the website?
Yeah, Scott always jokes about that because we launched on the same day with our first retailer, the company that owns Dogs of Instagram. And then we launched our website, side by side, and we made exclusive designs for them. And then we had our own inventory. And I think we launched with probably like 30 shirts in stock. Like, I'm talking, we were going small. Mm-hmm. And we had big launch. We're like, this is it. Today's the day, Black Friday, 2014. And we sold one shirt.
Crickets. I was about to just say crickets.
I'm like, sweet. So here we are. But we just kept at it. I guess that's the biggest thing is I kept at it. We both did. Instagram was our avenue to and focus. Thomas was an extremely cute dog. I also love photography. So I'd take pictures of him and post them on social media, strategically trying to figure out how to get more followers on there. Because I knew that by strangers' responses, if I got it out there, people would come. It's just, we started with a really crappy website, snaps on my iPhone. I mean, it was just really bad. So I think Scott made our logo in PowerPoint. So
Jason loves it that way.
kept going, and slowly we grew our following. We improved every element of our business as we went, and here we are.
Yeah, so I think that's a really important point for people to hear, and over. It's like, I was listening to this guy, forgot who he is. I didn't forget who he is. I just can't pronounce his name, actually. But he said, like, the difference between like really successful people and people that aren't successful at all is that really successful people just don't give up, and really they just figure it out, right? Like, they just try something new and they don't get deterred. Like, because most people will do what you did. It's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, everybody's buying. So I'm going to put my ad out there. I'm going to give everybody whatever the percentage off was, and everybody's going to start buying. And, we hear this over and over. One of our clients, the one that we were talking about, that's getting this, this funding, they told us a story about that. Like, we turned this website on and we have the greatest product on planet Earth. And the whole company is sitting around the website, and like, we turn it on at 12 o'clock at night and like nothing happens. And I said, well, I wish we would have known you then. I would have told you to all go to sleep, because it doesn't happen that way. And I just think the important lesson there is just not to give up. Because, if you looked back, that was a pivotal point, is that you didn't give up. You didn't say, oh shit, I only sold one, that means nobody wants it. You're like, oh man, like, how am I going to make people want this freaking thing?
Yeah. And to be fair, I had already started 2 businesses, one in college and then one when I got back from college. And so I had my own women's apparel line. I'd grown an Instagram account before, and I have experience in manufacturing and marketing. So I knew how to do it. It's just a little bit of a, time thing. You have to like continue improving, but you also have to give it time, but stay at it. And so I was lucky that I had that kind of already experience and knowledge. But for sure, you can't just think it's gonna happen. Even if you're a huge company and you just all of a sudden start spending a ton of money, it doesn't work that way. At least.
No, it doesn't. No, I mean, I've been doing this for 8 or 18 years. I don't even know what the number is. And you said that you've started businesses before, so you kind of knew. I'm like, I've probably started 20 businesses and I still don't know. I still feel like I want to give up when they don't work. You know what I mean? So I think it's an important lesson to learn, because I think that I just think about the businesses that I've started. Like I don't know if any of those would have been big, gigantic companies if I just gave them a little bit of time and patience, So I think that's harder than you make it sound, but I think it's a very good trait, is just not to give up.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that makes it easier is, like you mentioned before, both of my passions rolled into one. I mean, I'm dressing my dog in clothing, which I already did, taking photos of him, already doing that, right, and designing. So it was easier for me than most. I wasn't starting something brand new I've never done before. But yeah, you also do have to listen to the market and consumer and think, is this a viable product? Should I be spending my time on it? I had this intuition that, it really was. I really felt like there was a need for it out there. I thought there were more people like us out there wanting to spend money on their dogs. And so I listened to it, but you do have to know when to throw in the towel, for sure.
Right. But the first sale you run, or the first website you launch, is not the time. You got to give it a little bit more time than that, I think.
Sure,
which
definitely.
is, yeah.
So it seems like a bunch of your success has come from almost organic Instagram, right? And you said you've had success in the past growing followings and things like that. What was the key to that? Because I don't even know. Like I've tried growing Instagram followings, and maybe it's just because I'm not taking pictures of cute
you're
dogs.
boring.
I'm not taking pictures
you're
of cute
boring.
dogs.
That's why. Because your heart
So
beats once a month.
what's your excuse then?
It's
your following too.
You can't get this. You can't get this guy excited. It's impossible. So
you need the secret weapon, which is dogs.
Exactly.
I'm mad at a dog picture. I mean, I'm
Right.
not posting pictures of myself. I'm posting pictures of dogs. That's how you do
Yeah,
it.
maybe that's it. Maybe it's the shine off of Jason's head that's like keeping
Yeah.
everybody away.
But you're blaming me for your failures.
But maybe we should have a dog as part of our podcast.
I have a dog. I have
Yeah,
a pit
you need
bull.
to put them in a shirt and start.
Start eating it off. That's the only problem is I can't put anything on him. He's such a scaredy cat.
I find it so annoying though, like Instagram. Like I can't seem to get the engagement up that I want to see. And you're right. I guess it has a lot to do with the market and the fact that you're taking pictures of cute dogs, for sure.
I start posting Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff. Then you're gonna find people in our market, listening a little bit more.
Pictures,
But
maybe I should take my shirt off.
There
no,
you go.
then you'll definitely get nobody watching. In fact, your wife probably won't even watch at that point.
Maybe shave your agency's logo into your chest hair. And lay
Yeah.
it
They,
See,
that's a good Gina.
That's
I
a
like
problem. I don't have any chest hair like that.
that. Right.
I'm running
Look,
out of ideas.
Jason, can you do it?
I probably could do a little bit more than he can because like that beard he has. That's like 3-4 months.
Beard.
Right there.
This is a beard.
No, this is like a few days. This is that thing is like 3 months. You haven't grown.
No,
Can't
few
even,
days.
can't
Once a
even
week I shave.
grow hair on your face. You're a man. What the hell's the matter with you?
I don't know. I want to. Can't pull it out. I got the same
Yeah, I
issue as
gotta
your head.
Hmm?
I got
Well,
the same
yeah.
issue you're having on your head, I guess.
Yeah. This could go months without growing.
So Gina, what's how has this last year been with COVID? And I feel like it's kind of like a perfect industry to sell people clothes for their dogs while they're home most of the time. Was that the case for you? Did it blow up a little bit?
Yeah, we did get super lucky, to be honest. It's bittersweet to see so many companies struggle, but we are very lucky and thankful that we're in this industry because, yeah, everyone's at home with their dogs, spending more on their dogs, more time with their dogs. And our product is really giftable, and it's a gift that makes people smile. So I think it's brought a lot of joy to people, whether they're buying for themselves or someone else. There's a stat out there about spending on gifts for pets, dogs specifically, was up 21% in 2020, and gifts on humans was up 9%.
Wow.
So spending on dogs is growing rapidly, and so it's been definitely a good industry to be in.
Yeah, and you can have multiple. You could buy multiple outfits, right?
Yeah.
Well, and you also, I don't know if you saw the website, but did you look at the website, Jason?
I did, but I went right to Shark Tank.
And they also have was the whole matching set thing always a thing for you guys where the whole family could wear the same outfit, or is that a new thing?
No, so we started that 2 years into the business, because we're starting to get envious of Thomas's growing wardrobe, and we thought it would be funny to match with him. But we really didn't think that other people were going to be into it. We were kind of like, shy and nervous to do it because people are going to think we're fucking crazy. Sorry, shouldn't swear.
That's okay.
But
that's I'm happy you swore because like I kept swearing you didn't curse. I'm like, is this girl gonna curse or what? So I'm glad that you do.
Yeah, so we launched it and it went crazy. Now I think 70% of our orders are for matching sets. So someone ordering at least one human shirt with the dog shirt. So it's definitely a big part of our business now.
I assume that's something that kind of differentiates you from everybody else. I don't see a lot of companies that have that.
Right. There's matching outfits for families, but no one focused on dogs specifically type families. And it's a completely different consumer, to be honest. We have children sizes, baby sizes, and we sell hardly any of them because I think our customer is the dog mom or dog dad. And so we're kind of in a different genre from the family matching outfits.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, aside from like the $5,000 my wife likes to spend during Christmas, it's always like 500 and like it's always like $200 because the $200 is like the matching outfits for Christmas, right? So like it's like I have to have one, my 2 kids have to have one, she has to have one, her mother, her sister, everybody. So we take pictures. Everybody's wearing the same flannel crap or whatever.
Jason,
I'm sorry.
it's a tradition.
Yeah, right.
I feel like people as they get older to turn more into dog people. Like for instance, my parents are 70 years old, and my dad was like a man's
Your
man.
dad's
Like he was
7? What'd you
70,
say?
70.
70.
He's like a man. He's a roofer, cider, like a blue collar guy. And now he's got like he'll wear a mask of his little
Chihuahua.
Yorkie, his little Yorkie. So I feel like my parents would then
And nothing
do
else
this.
to do.
Yeah, that's their kids now,
All
I
the
guess.
time. I so think you're right.
Yeah.
How about the I'm looking at your website, and Jason and I, the business that he was speaking about that we've grown over the last 2 years, starting in the beginning of COVID, we decided to connect with a foundation to donate some funds to help support the cause and all that stuff, but also obviously make some money as well. And I see that you do that, and it's like the first thing you see when you go to your website for these donations. How has that been as far as affecting your affecting your sales and things like that?
That's hard to say because we've done it since we started the business. When we decided to start a dog apparel company, we knew we wanted to do more than just make dog clothing. And so we wanted to be able to give back to shelters that are, doing so much good by saving homeless dogs across the world and finding them homes. So we've always donated to nonprofit animal shelters. And first it was always to the same local one. And then we realized that people love this aspect of our business, and our customers aren't just in Minneapolis, Minnesota, they're across the world. So now we host a giveaway every quarter on Instagram called Raise for My Rescue. And we are actually about to have another one right now in a few days. And we ask our customers and followers, friends, to share where they adopted their dog and what their adoption story is and why they love that rescue. And then we choose one winner, and then we donate exclusively to that nonprofit for the quarter.
Yeah, that's awesome. We actually were donating to like COVID relief. And that really helped because Kevin, it might be something we want to look at again. But
well, we've always tried to like figure out some to make a connection to some foundation that goes deeper than just buying a product. I think it's really important. I mean, we just haven't found the right one yet. COVID was the easy one at the beginning. But we're still looking to maybe connect with somebody on that level.
But it definitely helped. Like when we had COVID on there, we're giving 10% of every sale to COVID relief. It really, because people always they, for whatever reason, people won't go donate their own money, but they like when you donate your money for them. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and I'm the same way. Like, I feel like if I buy something and you're going to donate on my behalf, like I feel good about that because I'm like, well, they would have just kept that money anyway. So it's great that they're helping. And I think, like Tom's was like the guy who started all this, right? Tom's Shoes, buy a pair and he donates a pair. And I know his name is Blake, but the point is that Tom's Shoes really started this, and then everybody just kind of started copying because they saw how fast he was able to grow just by leveraging that aspect.
Yeah, I think it makes you feel better about spending money on yourself or anyone, when you know that it's also giving back. You're like, oh, well, I'm also helping. So
maybe that's why my wife is spending so much money, because all these stores are giving to people. So
it's just one thing you have to do. I think everybody deep down wants to do something good, but how many of them are willing to go online and figure out how they can donate or where they should donate to? So I think that's part of it. You're just doing it for somebody, which is nice.
Yeah, maybe you guys could take some kind of poll on social media or through your newsletter or one of your ads and try and figure out if there's a theme across your customers or followers on the nonprofit that they would want to donate to. And maybe, they're of course not going to choose the same one most likely, but maybe there'll be a theme across all of them. Isn't it, is it national, what is it?
It's a wildlife photography magazine. And there's just some politics in it because our business partner, who is a National Geographic, he used to work with National Geographic and BBC. He's a big name in the industry. He's very finicky about he doesn't like giving money to the bigger organizations. He likes the little local ones. But the problem with the local ones is they don't have the exposure that the big ones have. So it's like, there's just like this, we just got to figure out what's going to have the most impact and what people are going to want. But yeah, I mean, surveying may be a thing. The problem is like we have a Facebook group like with like 12,000 people in it in like a year and a half, I think, or no, since September.
Yeah.
Like 12,000. And you, like you said, they don't give you the same answer. They all have like their own ideas. So it gets a little bit of.
Well, maybe you could do some sort of giveaway. I mean, or some kind of, giveaway where you ask them and someone wins, and you try and pick, a medium-sized organization. Because I get what you mean with choosing a smaller one is you're not going to get the marketing power back. And we for sure see that because we mostly choose smaller rescues. But the power of someone like that winning and the amount of people they tell about our brand because we're now donating to their favorite rescue, like I think you really would see a return, even though you don't think you would because of the size of the organization. People love when you listen to them and when they're a part of your journey.
I think it's a lot to do with like you want to see your money have the most impact on the foundation. I feel like the WWF, we were just talking about them the other day, World Wildlife Federation, like they're huge, obviously, but to send them $10,000 is like probably like sending them nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So by sending 10,000 to a local, some kind of rescue like you do, just seems like, and then you can share the results. You could speak closely to the foundation. You could see exactly where the money went. I think that was a big part of it too.
Yeah,
for sure. So Gina, which I just had to say your name because of my mom's name, as I said. I want to just talk to you, if you don't mind, a little bit about numbers, because I'm constantly astounded because Kevin and I are Facebook advertisers, we're email marketers, and we're Google. We do Google stuff. Okay. But our world is like, we spend $1 and we just try to get like $1.20 back or $1.10 back or even $1 back. Right. So that we're creating these break even ads where we can then sell to people on the back end. What's really interesting to me is that there are so many other companies out there like you guys. Like a lot of the people we've had on here, they're like, yeah, we're not really doing digital. Like everything's just organic and, word of mouth. But like, I want to just ask you, how do you do that? First of all, like, because it's like so foreign to me. And number two, like, how do you, in terms of your numbers, like, how do you guys? I know you're saying you scale slowly, but like, how do you make that work when you don't really have any control over who's coming in?
So your question is, how do we know? What was the exact question?
Like, how do you do it without?
Yeah, like
you say you don't spend a lot of money on advertising or digital marketing at all. You rely a lot on organic things and stuff like that. How does that end up making sense?
Yeah, how does that make sense? Because you can't really control it, right? You got to kind of like wait, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, we've grown very slowly over time. I guess I shouldn't say very slowly, but it's been a slow process. We make money. We put the profits back into the business. We just started taking profits out of the business. So, everything has gone back in to slowly grow our inventory from the 30 shirts we started with to now this room full of apparel. And it just slowly scales from there. There's different ways to do it, but also digital advertising in the beginning is a little scary because you have to see a pretty big return. It's not a software. It's not a digital product. We have a lot of overhead with apparel and inventory and the office warehouse employees. So the return has to be there. And so you have to be ready for it.
Yeah, one of our clients needs like an 8x return on their Facebook ads. Ooh. For it to even make sense. So
That's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but we're doing very well with it. I think
product. What type of product?
It's you wouldn't need it, but it basically dries and straightens your hair instantly. Not instantly, but have you heard of Rev Air? It like sucks your hair in. Not my hair.
Yeah, So I'm not really into the beauty cosmetics scene, but my girlfriend is very into it. Was just telling me about that.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
haven't even blow dried my hair in probably a whole year. So
Yeah, me too. Maybe I have the same thing. But no, I mean they need like a really big return because their product is really expensive. But and the other tricky thing with them is that they only have one product, so it makes it even harder. But for you guys, I mean, I don't really think it'd be that difficult because if you can upsell people, like so, like somebody comes and buys a shirt for themselves and their dog, like on the way out you can say like, hey, how about these other two really popular packages, so like you can increase your average order value that way, and then you can also have like post purchase set like offers as well. I mean, like I feel like, and then back end email. I mean, I don't know. I really feel like you guys are in like a really good niche where, you know, you have multiple products for the same person. And then you can even sell like style guides if you wanted to. I don't know if that's even a thing, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have enough, versatility in your product where I don't think it'll be as hard as you think. I mean, it's never easy, but I think
It
you
would just
can.
take a bit of an investment up front, but it seems
yeah.
like you have a customer base that's going to come back and it's going to stay very loyal to you. Is that the case?
Yeah, for sure. And I think we definitely have a good product for it. I mean, our photos are easily, attract our type of consumer on social media specifically. And we just started working with an agency last holiday season. And yeah, we saw, up to 40x, but I guess that was Q4 for a holiday. But so we know that if we spend here, we will see a return. We've just wanted to do it slowly because we have one full-time employee and me. We can hardly stay afloat right now. We're trying to grow, but we also need to do it in the right way so that we don't grow too big too fast.
That's such a weird problem.
I
We
know
don't.
we're trying to do it all, but we just don't want to get ahead of ourselves. And this year with raising the outside capital, the spend will be on digital advertising because we know it does work for us. But there's a lot of other puzzle pieces that, you have to align, like inventory. You can't just spend $400,000 on advertising and not have your inventory show up that is 6 months out. You gotta really plan for it. So
But can you like pre-sell things? Like just say like, look, these are the prints that are coming out in springtime. Here's, a pre-sale. They'll be shipping on this date. I mean, I don't know if you're even allowed to keep their money if you do that though.
you can, and we've done a little bit of it, but like our product takes 6 months to produce because we are doing it completely from scratch. And so I don't know, capturing the sales 6 months ahead of time, it's a really big headache. Even when we do a pre-order that's a month out, I mean, it's just a big process to, have some orders that have a pre-order on there and then a regular item that's in stock. You ship one, you have to wait to ship the other. Like it's really messy. And so we're trying to stay away from pre-orders. It's not our game.
Okay. Now, are you guys, you don't have to give me exact numbers. Are you guys a 7-figure business yet?
We will be at the end of this year.
Wow. Good for you. Isn't that
Nice,
like an
congrats.
awesome like number? Everybody
Yeah,
wants to be a
I mean,
7-figure business.
it's surreal and feel super confident about where we're at and where we're going. So it will be wild at the end of the year to hit that number.
That's awesome. And congratulations on that. Cause I know that's, well, maybe not in your case, because you guys are trying not to make any money, but
No, I understand. I'm the same way. Like I'm always hesitant to grow too fast. I want to make sure that I can deliver. Jason's the other guy who's just like, get it out there. Let's sell as many as we can. We'll figure it out later. So I'm just
I
like you
think
in that
that's
sense.
part of the, I don't know, secret sauce to our business. Like we're not just trying to make a buck. Like I'm trying to build a brand and really connect with our consumer and give back at the same time and just do it in a way where we're not going to disappear in like 5 years. I want to be around and build a viable business that's not just, I don't know, something cheap and fast.
Have a bunch of competitors popped up, especially since you were on Shark Tank?
There's more and more people. You probably saw a lot of commercials with matching outfits this year with dogs in them. but no one's focused on the dog like we are. There's been a lot of bigger companies that have added dog apparel to the mix. But I'm talking 1 or 2 styles just so they can probably get that marketing play to get a dog on TV for their ad, because it performs well, but no one is focused on the fit and the quality of it. And so we've heard so many times from our customers that have purchased from brands like that, and the fit is horrible. You know, it fits maybe like 5 different breeds and quality's not there. So there's no one hyper focused on it still. So we're pretty grateful at that, but also why we're raising outside capital. We got to move if we want to stay ahead of any competition.
Well, you guys have done a great job. I mean, I don't want to, we're coming up here on an hour, and I know you said that that's what you have, so I want to respect your time. But I do have one last question that you just brought up. Is like, how do you handle the different breeds? Because they have different body. I mean, just like weight doesn't seem like enough, right? Like there's different lengths, the different, I don't know. How do you work on?
All of our secrets for anyone trying to
Okay. I was just kidding.
but we basically spend a lot of time in research, trying on a lot of dogs and gathering info in other ways from our consumers. So it's been a very slow and long process that we are consistently tweaking every single season to make it better and better.
You must be extremely busy. Seems like you got a lot. You're wearing a lot of hats.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Are you still taking the pictures too?
No, I take some social media ones for of our dog and family, etc. But no, we have a photographer we work with for all of our shoots.
Well, they're really cute.
Thank
If
you.
I had a dog, I would totally buy it. But my wife is allergic to pets, dogs and cats. So I'm still working on it, though. I feel like I'm going to get her there.
They don't have any sizes that would fit you anyway. So
Hey,
he's awesome, isn't he?
Is she allergic to all dogs? Those hypoallergenic dogs, like Thomas was a Pomeranian poodle. Poodles are usually.
Yeah, I think we could probably find a dog that would be okay. But my daughter's obsessed with cats, so she's been pushing a cat so much, and I feel like if we get a dog, she'll be just so pissed at us.
Oh my God, cat! Everyone's allergic to cats. Your wife's gonna need to be on like medication for her life.
I did find some certain cats who are less, I don't know, allergenic than others.
Really?
So there's something like a Russian blue is a cat that only sheds like once a year.
Sounds fancy.
It has some kind of gene, less gene or something. I don't know. There's a whole thing, but I don't know.
Does it wear jeans? Maybe that's why.
It wears jeans. Yes.
Oh, wears jeans.
Gina, well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Well, wait, before where can everybody go find you and your business?
Yeah. Anyone that just wants to see cute dog pictures or check out our products, you can go to shopdogthreads.com or follow us on Instagram for daily cute pics of our customers.
Yeah, you guys have a nice following on Instagram for sure.
Thank you. I think that has been just because our customers are awesome and they love their dogs, and everyone shares our product and tags us, which has been super helpful and also really fun for our business to see.
Awesome, Gina. Thank you so much. We'll definitely stay in touch. I definitely want to check up on you and see how things are going.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nice chatting with you guys.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Another great interview, another great story. Like I said, another interesting story about Shark Tank, but they really seem like great people too. I mean, the fact that they really want to grow slow is interesting, but I get it.
Very interesting to me.
I get it because they seem like they have a lot on their plate. They have 2 young kids. It's just her full time. So I can see it. I can see why that's appealing to them. As long
to be honest with you, there's a lot less pressure with growing slowly as well. Like she probably doesn't like obsess about her numbers all the time. But the problem is like you have to then rely on some of your organic, content, because how do you keep it going? Like that's the thing. Like she did say they're getting to a point now where they have to start spending money on Facebook ads,
especially with the fact that they have to, be 6 months ahead. Like they have to start ordering inventory, creating stuff 6 months in advance. So it's almost like you can't rely on that organic stuff.
Yeah.
At least apparently you can.
Yeah. Apparel's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting, Kev, is that we take for granted what we've done with the journal. Like,
Yeah.
when you hear these stories, like they've been in business since 2017 and she's just about to crack the $1 million mark, and like we've had this business for like a year and a half, and I'm like, oh my God, we did 2 million. Like, oh, how do we get to 5 million? It's
Well,
like,
we're always a part of the conversation about this business is that like, okay, how can we get some physical products? And then when the more and more I talk about these people who have these physical products, I'm like, oh, warehouse she was in, inventory, overhead. You're like, oh, do I want that? I have this really sweet spot right now where I don't have to worry about all that stuff. And it's just like an added headache.
yeah,
But it is a way to scale.
definitely a way to not only scale, but like to get your current customers to buy things.
Right.
So
Cool. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening. That's been episode 210. As always, you can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com. We'll talk to you guys real soon.
later.